or the Black Sun or the reptilian, anyone to hack it or to steal it, those are being closed now.
All right. What's up, Joseph? Meet Martin. Martin's our
Greetings.
You're going to see me go like this in and out my ear because there's like some feedback coming through. So when I respond, yeah, that's what's going on.
No problem.
That's got to be some type of new technology or something.
Man,
Joseph,
you think the Pleiadians beamed me something?
So things are seem to be culminating here. We've had an interesting conversation for the last hour with Martin. But tomorrow there's the 6th, which is kind of a D-Day, I guess, of some sort. Inauguration's the 20th. Martin's talking about the 21st with the intel that he's getting from the group he's involved with in terms of some type of liberation to some degree or another. What are you feeling right now? What are you seeing out there? What do you know? I know you'll keep it real.
Right now, I feel like a giant transmuter of lower energies and fears and doubts. And I'm like, Father, I know this can't be mine, but let's just get through it. And then I asked Dad, and I'm like, should I do the show? And I kept getting chills, and I'm like, let's do the show. And then instantly frequency's already shifting as I'm also listening to this great galactic comrade. So,
spoken like a true light warrior. Tell it like it is. Yeah, that's important. The personal honesty and the personal experience. I mean, that's really, to me, how do you get that vibe out there? It's just like,
well, it's like people know what's real nowadays. It is what it is. It's like, Christ becoming human is just that. We go through the different levels and ascend. And so it's kind of like, how relatable are you if you ain't been through the trenches with them? How much of a comrade are you if you ain't got your elbows dirty in the dirt, taking shots and giving them back if you have to, divinely. So, I go through it all the time. I'm like, I feel like I've mastered this class, God. I really do. And I don't understand why I'm going through this again. Like, why am I thinking this and that? And this is a lower frequency. I'm like, I know it's all good. And then it came to me again, like before I did the show, is like, you wouldn't be here, brother, if you're vibing that high. I'm like, okay, I get it. So there's a couple little speed bumps before we totally 5D it, I suppose.
Yeah, I think everybody's there are no exceptions. Everybody,
unless you got a hoverboard, then you're good.
Yeah, right. That's how Jesus walked on water,
Yeah, we're working on it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm out the boat right now, as a matter of fact, Todd.
I feel like that once, and I hate to put it this way, one side or the other, because I don't really mean it that way, but I just have this feeling that it's like a balloon blowing up bigger and bigger and bigger. Our individual experience is kind of paralleling it, like what you just described, because everybody that's been on the show in the past 3 or 4 weeks is saying the same thing. But I feel like something's going to prove out very quickly. Like we're not talking like weeks, we're talking days. Exactly. And of course, there's things that are correlating with that impression. That's my impression. I want to make that clear. But what are your thoughts on that? Are you feeling anything like that?
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, if you think about it, the other camp won't let Trump in, and we won't let Biden in. So with that example alone, there's not much more wiggle room for one way or the other. It's going one way or the other, right? So, and as you see, like I'm watching some of these rallies and the people gathering, today, everyone's saying, where are these Biden supporters? It's obvious that most of the masses are really with it. They've been dogged down by the same percent over and over. So it gets real easy, I think, at this point for them to go, okay, he's working for me. I don't know. You could start feeling from your heart more and more to where politicians can't hide behind the words. They have to reveal themselves through their energy as the third eye is opening to read it and the heart is reading it. So it has to, it's going to shift higher. There was always potentials of it being a good shift and a higher shift from what I was given from galactic councils, but the potentials were so high that we were going to make it this time, that this planet was going to become a star citizen with the other planets that, we're not going to cycle through the self-destruction again. And the Pleiadians and the other galactic benevolent, guardians weren't going to let it happen, just because some dude has a temper tantrum and wants to throw rocks at the rest of the people. Like, nah, we're good. We're not going to have that. If these people do want to wake up on their own, however, we're going to support that, but we're not going to do their homework for them. We're here as tutors. We're here as guides. And that's how you do that. Otherwise, you're going to miss lessons, and, you don't want to miss those kind of lessons, as you may have bigger and more capable technology to do destruction in the wrong hands. It's almost like divinely guided that they can't enter there and can't obtain that kind of power without that kind of responsibility and love.
Right on, man. That was a mouthful.
It was a long answer.
Yeah. That was good. That was.
What did I just say, Father? Rewind it. This is why it's recorded.
You got anything to add to that, Martin?
Well, basically, I had nothing more to add. That I very much concur what you're saying. Apart from one little thing, you say go one way or the other. Well, it can only go one way, really. There's no way it's going back to the dark control system.
True.
There's no way that these leaps in consciousness and in energies, there's no way that's going back to what it was before. So, but I'm sure that what we meant was something else than that. So,
yes,
that was all I had to add.
Yeah, I just meant so. I guess suppose the dark thought it could go the other way, and it's just not going to go that way. The only way it's going to go that way for them is they're going to be gone somewhere else to experience that.
Somewhere else, yeah. Perhaps on planet K87 or something.
AK-47. Right?
Yeah, I once hit that station on my radio, and I was like, shit.
Well, and what Martin was saying was a pretty interesting explanation when we were talking about how I mentioned that, over the last few years, people had downloaded, there would come at this time or at a certain time that more and more people would be physically transitioning. And Martin was talking about how the energy at that level is shifting through, some souls transitioning through different ways, but also through walk-ins, where a soul that can't make the jump leaves and another one comes in that can. I thought that was pretty interesting, because that, to me, is bringing into reality what is as much of our existence, if not more, that everyone's experiencing in these circles on an individual level and sometimes with other people, but it's not really impacted or talked about on a wider scale,
That's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I could see that as, what stays on Earth is going to basically be heavenly and pure intent on a fifth dimensional level and beyond. So, any body that remains, so to speak, there's going to have to be a good spirit around, to be in the heavenly realms. It just makes sense.
And what about, I've been feeling this, Morgan, obviously everything I experience, the same can go for her. Usually goes through her first, like a lot of women on the planet, and also what a lot of people have been saying recently is in regard to manifestation, not just on a individual level, but what we would want for the collective, let's say. But that, the impression is ask or be sure you know what you want. Clearly state your intention, know that you want it, and then kind of let it go and it comes. Mm-hmm. Are you guys feeling any of that?
Specifics matter. To be specific, what one says, I can give an example with affirmations. Some say, I state the intention that I want this and I want that, or some people say, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to let go. I don't know. And the universe stands and say, yes, you're ready, they're ready. Should we do it then? Should we do it then? Should we do it then? So it's much better to say, like, I'm now letting go of this, for instance. So specifics matter. That it makes a difference in this fashion. So perhaps now maybe I moved astray from the question, but
You're good.
but it's yes, it's coming. Our hearts are opening, our minds are open, our glands are opening. We are naturally we adapt to what it both in consciousness and physically we're adapting to these new energies, and if you resist enough, you may not make it, or it's actually going to be very uncomfortable. But accepting and moving with it, we can get a lot that is coming up to be resolved from the collective consciousness. So it may not even be our own, but we chose to be here to do this thing now, and I think we will feel much more relief the coming weeks and months.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I think sometimes you're the most fatigued toward the finish line, you know? So.
Yeah.
Darkest night.
Not worried about some shit right now. I love what you, Joseph, what you said at the very beginning when I said, like, what's going on? And you just very much without a charge. You just said, well, you got Trump on this side, so to speak, Biden over here, so to speak. This side won't accept Biden. This side won't accept Trump. You know, it was such a multifaceted statement. But really, and we were talking about earlier about how it seems like the collective is simulating what we're doing, and that's integrating, dark and light within ourselves and all that.
Yeah.
Do you see like a tipping point? Do you see like a tipping point at some point on the linear coming up where there's like a stampede from one side to the other, whatever that maybe looks like?
Yeah, I mean, another tipping. I mean, I think the election was a big tipping point for the final kabooey, and that's setting off a chain of other activations and other big events, such as everyone feeling the red wave and then seeing these weird numbers like, whoa, we knew it was rigged, but this is wild. Wow. Okay. Wish I could do this with my bank or something, maybe we can. But yeah, so I don't know if there's just going to be one set date, but I know like one of the big dates will be the revelation of perhaps those that we thought were dead are living,
Yeah.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Send me some more cues through the ether.
Well, it's, the thing is, there's so much information, so much misinformation. And at the end of the day, you're left there, just you and the universe, mano y mano, with your own intuition, telepathy, and discernment. And this whole trip on a personal level.
The children. That's someone messaged about the children. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But what I was going to say is, and it seems to come back to this place where you got to detach from everything while all this other stuff is happening. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I like what you just said a minute ago about there being a big kabooey, whatever that may have been. And I'm not even like focused on individuals, but just the energy. And I think that's what Martin was saying. There really is no two ways. There's only one way this is going to go down, and the basis of that is there is a collective energetic expansion that's occurred.
Oh yeah.
So it's not really about individuals and people, not to take anything away from individuals and people and souls and their initiatives and their dreams and their missions and purposes. But it's like, at some level, there must be an acceptance with enough human beings on the earth of being able to explain things like you did at the very top when you came in a while ago, Joseph, and said, this is what you have. I mean, it's not really like one side or another. It's more like what Martin said. There's only one thing that can happen.
Yeah, the divine evolution of the spirit and soul will be ongoing for eternity through the human experience and others, you know. And I also have to remind myself when there's turbulences, there wasn't that human experience, I suppose, without some of those characteristics. But the beautiful thing is we'll see us merge that with heaven.
Yeah.
So I guess everything we were looking for, where it's like, I want like a week of peace, Lord, like no stones thrown at me. I'm not throwing them back. Like, can we get there? And I'm assured, yes, we're getting there. And just by that pure will and drive, you can see miracles and mountains move.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am so.
Well,
The remedy.
the individuals and the collective as a whole has very much a saying as how fast is this going to happen, and also to very much extent how is it going to look, how is it going to feel, how is it going to happen in specifics. But the main cause of where we are going is said we are beyond that tipping point, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, we have one. Yes, it's many things. Most actually has been in the hidden. As goes for the general public, it has been very much in the hidden. But even for those most enlightened or best updated here, very much has been hidden and in the unseen or behind the scenes, if you like. But very much so that there's pretty, as I said, I think we all feel it in our hearts. It can basically go only one way, but pretty much everyone agrees, challenge or that. Of course, we have a free will. So how fast it's going is how fast can we integrate these aspects of ourselves, darkness and light together, and the more we do this, and the more we lead the way as good examples, and the more we will shine that into the collective context, and also physically, specifically, face to face, or like we do now, inspire people, stepping out of fear, letting if people can truly feel, and we can that in our hearts, we can physically feel when someone is really caring, really compassionate, really loving, and that is inspiring. It's you could call it infective if you want.
It's amazing.
That word, but it's contagious.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Hell yeah, it is. That's Soulogy. That's it. I mean, it is, and that's the great thing is. No matter what is going on, it's an inside job to the nth degree, and that's the greatest contribution you can make to the collective energy.
Lovely, yes.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Joe,
we can do something on a physical level as well. Come together in unity in a community, with friends, reach out, but also in the local communities, we can come together. We can tell our next door neighbor. Well, we can show them love, of course, but when people, I think very soon, a lot of things will come out in the open, and many people will be looking for guidance and leadership, because they will be confused. Some will be in shock, and that's when we can step up and truly be helpful in our local communities. Some may not be prepared at all, and so that's where the light workers really need to step up, I believe.
Yeah.
It's around now. I think it could break any day, any week.
Man, it sure feels like something's gonna bust. Joseph, you don't have any intel on when the pin's gonna pop the balloon?
I mean, I see it popped. In a sense, it's just a flap floating around in the air that's coming down. I mean, like he said, the light has already won.
Yeah.
The old organizations are imploding upon their own ill intent. And those that choose 5D and goodness from their heart have access and keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And
it's just the human aspect that's impatient.
The human aspect. Yeah.
It wants to see the hard evidence.
It's earning the keys. and then being like, wow, there's even higher dimensions. And it's like, oh yeah, I originated from these dimensions as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a dance. Let me get more rhythm in it, less turbulence, more good times. I mean, we've experienced the just pure bliss. And then when we get the turbulence, not just to experience it, but perhaps figure out what altitude to fly and how to go around it so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Or furthermore, just clear the air to where it's gone. And I think collectively we're doing that. And it does take time. It does take a transition. But again, like I sometimes get on a video game and have a good time.
Yeah.
There's suspense. Sometimes I really get into the role. Sometimes when I get killed, you'd think I died in real life as I'm going to, maybe throw a controller. And that's part of, getting my, oh, wait, I'm taking this too seriously. Boom. Sometimes taking this too seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing that's cool, and I would bet it's everywhere. And over the last month, 2020, everything expanded in all ways, right? I mean, in every aspect. But in particular, in the last month, to me, the clarity and the longevity of, I would call, dimensional experiences, multidimensional connection, that like you're talking about and referring to, has been stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where I'm literally like, okay, I can reach into this other timeline. It's like almost like the grid. The true grid or the true cosmic web is materializing. Like all the things I can access have become more accessible, and the other part that's happening is that kind of dialogue that happens inside our heads, and it's like, are you sure you want to do that? What do you really want? It's like this conversation of I don't know, just clarity, like really knowing what you want, and something is aligning that's helping that to occur. That's my 2 cents. But to me, that's the evidence.
That timeline exists. Yeah, that superhero timeline. It does, maybe takes a little work and bouncing around, but it's worth it. And that's the remedy. Like Brother was talking about earlier, the remedy is just doing the best we possibly can on any level, and taking in new information and not being afraid, but taking it through the heart and seeing where it resonates and how it expands the heart. And if it contracts the heart, perhaps we need to step away from something and examine ourselves further, because the more we can be in tune with the source creator, the more we can give it out to people. The more we're looking for it in other people, perhaps it's not, maybe it's, it's kind of like going to the cow for your protein. Well, the cow goes to the grass. Leave the cows alone. That kind of thing. They're nice.
No, but that makes
That's
a lot
another
of
thing.
sense. Focus on your own.
The children is the tipping point. I got some hard-headed people I know, and they really think we're still wearing tinfoil hats, which I may have one under here. But the tipping point is like, you're going to negate children being abused. You're going to negate them being herded worse than cattle. Then there is no place on this earth at this time for you, and you will be allocated elsewhere for that experience. But for the rest of us, oh man, this is stomach turning and warrior breeding. So there is no turning back. That's for sure. And it does become, and little things do start to manifest bigger. And I just want to stress that. Well, not stress that. I want to underline that and highlight it, and just say that and reinforce that, because Q is military. Q is part of rescuing these children and deserves our utmost respect and airtime at times, I believe. But to each their own, where we all resonate.
So Martin was talking about, because I said
Hoorah.
Martin, hoorah. Are you a Marine?
That's for my guys out there. They know who they are.
So
they gotta do that. That, what was that one show where that guy has got to do these crazy jobs that no one wants to do, dirty jobs? You want to talk about dirty jobs where a camera doesn't even want to go, bro? That's what they're doing. So sometimes we got to think of what the children went through and what our soldiers have to go through to rescue them. It will make us feel a little bit lighter in the sense that, what, if they can do that, what can't I do?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless the children.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, man. The
Victory of the Light is the biggest show.
So I was asking Martin earlier, I said, if there is, and I believe to some degree there is, absolutely. Not that it matters what I believe, but
It does matter what you believe.
well,
Because what you believe manifests.
You're right. Yes,
It manifests into your timeline. Like I was believing earlier, maybe someone wasn't as close to my heart as they were, and I felt turbulence. I'm like, oh, that's not right. They do love me. I know they love me. They might be watching.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's all good.
And I was saying to him, okay, if there is this galactic human hybrid soul connection that there is with the resources energetically and otherwise that it has, why don't we have a strong alternative, a huge alternative media outlet, such as a website or such as a newspaper or whatever. Now, he was talking about United News Network.
I'm starting one today, Todd. It's called Liberator TV. We're in high definition all the time. No, what assassinated the mainstream media? What is To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah.
What is Q? What is this? What is my FB timeline? What is my YouTube channel? What is all of that collectively doing to the mainstream media? Who is the news now? Who is the narrative? The people. We don't need one set mainstream lane. We are that collectively. And you can see it in all these pockets, and some are bigger than others. Like you got Next News, you got you got some good ones, RSBN and Newsmax, and there's some other ones, God bless them, and so it's there. It's all there. I mean, if it wasn't there, we wouldn't have turned the tide against the mainstream narrative.
Good point.
There's also a multidimensional answer to that question. And you were talking about portals and many other things opening. But actually, in our DNA, in our system, in our Akashic blueprint, we have all this. Mainly, most people only know of our seven main chakras. We have 5 on top of that, 12 plus 1. This is a cosmic sacred geometry based on the 12-digit or 12 cipher number rather than the 10-digit system. And when we open these, each of these chakras opens into this multidimensionality, and the top of them, it opens into telepathy and even jumping in time and space through 0 point as a Christ of consciousness. And our DNA is increasing in its efficiency, and when we raise enough in efficiency of DNA, we may be in the mid or late 30s by now of percentage of functional in DNA. But when it activates, we don't need those mainstream media or anything. We just know by heart or by telepathic. So it's really many facets to how this is going to happen. As to why it has not happened yet, there's an angle to that too, because it's part of the awakening for the masses, for the collective, is to see, to experience by themselves, not be told by someone else, but to awaken from within, to see, this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up. Okay, first, now they see this, and now there's that, and all this evidence comes around. Okay, they've been lying the whole time. So it's part of the human experience collectively of awakening. Mm-hmm. And that is, somewhat rigid. That is part of what it hasn't happened. In praxis, very shortly, all those mainstream media, they could be confiscated. For instance, the Global Intelligence Office could freeze the funds or confiscate them or take it over. It could be taken over by who knows, by Ghost Squads or Delta Force teams, and simply be put to broadcast the truth. There are many fashions, but I believe this has not happened, as I explained, because of the awakening experience of the collective as a whole, out of respect for when they're ready. Simply.
Yeah, no, I totally dig what you're both saying, and I really love the literalness and the metaphoric and the ability to use it as an analogy, which is what Joseph was talking about with platforms. I mean, he's right. Everything's inverted. All these things that we see as being the big, powerful things really aren't. They're not aligning with the frequency of the people anymore. You can see that. Like false flags don't align with the frequency of the people because they've just risen above it, and so all these digital warriors, all these digital platforms are actually the power. That was a great point, and I think that also is a great analogy for our whole ground crew as a whole, because nobody's down here just twiddling their thumbs.
It's true. I mean, even if it seems like it, people are going through something, even if they don't disclose it verbally. And that's where our telepathy and our heart connections help to heal each other. We feel someone hurt, and you may not even have to go to their house. You could pray for them and send them energy and healing and light crystal energy and diamonds, all the rubies, sapphires, all of it. You send it to them, and they'll feel that. And maybe they don't know why their day is better, but that's okay, right? Because collectively, we're trying to uplift each other one way or another.
True. I just realized you're using the name Too True, and I just realized that you got 3 videos on your wall where you've done a little something with Tupac.
Oh man, that's the homie. What's up? Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah, I was just telling him you're still here, bro. I'm phased out by it too still. Yeah, Pac's the man. That's my homie, bro. I mean, since I was a young kid, bro, I remember listening to songs like Life Goes On and just tearing up. And just hearing the compassion through the man. And, we are the new age prophets, not to toot our horns, but the trumpets are blowing. And this is the new age revelations. And he was a scribe, and I'm sure he was of days of old, and he wrote the truth, and he challenged the Illuminati and, whatever the unholy sun group was, he went against them, and then the Lord protected him. And it's like, no, you're not crucifying this son. Sorry. Nice try. I will let you have your own deception. You'll have your own illusion if you want to place that on the people. You will place it upon your own. And then that is the teacher for them, perhaps, in the next cycle that they go through. Perhaps, the villains of today one day will be trying to do something better in another life. But for at this point, man, Pac's the homie, man. Much love.
I know, man. He kept me alive on the streets for 2 years.
Man, Tupac never even died. It was like, even if he did so much work, like even after he passed, his energy was just so rambunctious and momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible for the handlers.
It grew as a consciousness.
He wouldn't have a handler or controller. That's a wild Black Panther, brother. He wouldn't have a handler or controller on him. Nothing.
So can you
actually he enjoyed when they tried though. And that's what his warrior spirit was. I was like, I was like, Lord, we get bored in heaven. It's like, well, hey, if you want a mission, I'll give you a holy way to be a warrior. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling a little, and I kind of feel that sometimes because I almost have to like deprogram from the war mode. I've been used to just, everywhere I go being targeted, this place, that place, just like feeling like Rocky in the ring everywhere. I'm like, I'm ready to give hugs, man. And it's about that time. For those that want the hugs, but they got a knife in their hand. Don't wonder why I'm boxing.
Can you spit a little Tupac for us, staring in my rear view?
Dear God, I've been feeling like I'm close to Jesus, paranoid by my pistols, close smoking trees. Keep my eyes on my foes, those close to me. Watching enemies catch strays, straight choking me. But it's the thug in me. Now talk a lot of bad boy shit and get the squilling. Bitch made catching feelings. Anyway, I edited a little bit of Pac right there. That wasn't from staring through my rear view, but
I know.
Yeah, that's what came to mind. I mean, the songs he did, even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama.
Song, man.
I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed. A single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it. There's no way I can pay you back. The plan to show you that I understand.
Yeah, I love him with the Outlaws too.
No wonder they're like, get him off the radio, get him out of here. There's something I don't like about him, man. I will be flipping the tables over with him.
Oh, he was definitely.
Oh man, he's still here, man. That's the funny part.
I know,
I mean, I feel in my heart that physically he's still here. I don't just mean spiritually.
Hey, back in the old studio, I made music with him and a bunch of other transitioned brothers and sisters.
All right, don't start me on Tupac. It'll be the whole show.
So, all right, man. Martin, you got anything else before we get out of here? We'll come back to.
Well, I think.
Be the whole show.
I'll just tell anyone that really the biggest blocking now is it's actually obvious. Why is everyone that has ill intent pushing fear, all kinds of scenarios of fear, right?
Yeah.
The biggest block is actually fear in the collective and individually, but every one of us that can rise beyond fear, we can actually help our brothers and sisters to do the same. So I believe that. Wow, I lost it. Letting go of fear, choosing love over fear. That's a short way of saying it.
Yeah. What you got, too?
Oh, I'm still wondering when I'm gonna have that Tupac party. I'm like, so brothers.
Dude, I'm gonna be there.
Listen, I'm waiting for John to pick me up and like, hey, Princess Di. Listen, I was creating the new Bible for these folks. Like, I knew these people were taken out by the enemy, or now I know the enemy thought they took them out.
Yeah.
And so I was just collecting interviews. I was collecting studies, research. I was putting it in my songs. I was putting it everywhere I walked and breathed, that they would breathe through me. Like Pac said in one of his songs, The Good Die Young. And that's just like, man, it just to almost be like, okay, what would be like my heavenly vision? All right, so all those people that you really love, those Jedis you thought were dead and you thought you were the last one ready to die? Well, not only are you not going to die, they're alive. I'm like, nah, get out of here. I wouldn't believe it, bro. And it's like, that's happening? I'm like, all right, that's awesome, bro. Like, for real. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, John, people are telling me on comments. I've been seeing Tupac at the rallies.
Wow. Man, I don't put anything outside the realm of possibility.
Well, you think about it, the Jedi catch on. Okay, they're going to hunt and kill us to the ends of the earth. Let's pretend we're dead.
There you go.
And then we'll build up a counter, because wisdom trumps the clever ill wit of the enemy. Or we should say the lower density realms.
Intelligence over intellect.
Yeah.
Aspects of our creator. Actually, we are all in unity.
It's where it came from. They all came from that.
Exactly. We all came from the same consciousness. So actually, what is about ET, about ET extraterrestrial contact, that all comes down to when we let go of fear and when we come into unity. As soon as that happens, they're coming through. Then we'll see them more. Of course, we can see them in the sky. We can see lights dancing. There are many sightings, but like landing or like mass contact is not going to happen before we come into unity, because we're still, as you said, pretty barbaric. We still tend to have this old habit of going into attack mode or into what do we call it, defensive reactions.
Yeah, programming.
But it'll be over soon. I feel it changing very much in myself, and I can observe around me.
I see it changing in everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And those it's not changing in are leaving, and other new ones are coming in, even with higher consciousness than us. So
these kids. Joseph, you said before we get out of here, you said something early on about the things that are really small or really big, something like that.
Yeah. Like that right there. Ill intent, any small ill intent. Like let's say someone smears a military group rescuing children, that's disgusting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would those little things add up, brother.
So that's the good things.
Yeah.
But let's keep it 5D for those that want it. I love you guys. My Kundalini is all over the place like a dragon. But a good
Dragons
dragon.
are here.
But a good dragon.
Let's connect
I
again.
ain't bragging. But
Let's
I fly
connect
like
again.
a dragon. And for the people, for respect, I stick my neck out like a giraffe. You get that?
Yeah. You're on fire tonight.
Brother, it's the Holy Spirit. Listen, how do you win every battle?
Well,
You never start one.
Never quit.
You just you want to better the people. Your whole foundation is built on the golden cities on high.
Yeah.
So when you manifest that down here, the Lord will always have your back. Divinely, you are supported if you are divinely in service.
that's right.
And so it's like, I don't know, some man, your raps kick ass. She's like, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do this just to show you I can do it the best. And then after I do it, we'll have peace.
Coming into self-mastery, yes.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Let's get together again in next month.
Sure.
Let's see what happens next month.
Oh, yeah.
Party in the mothership. Party in the mothership.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I'd love to pick up on this, and we can pick up what really happened with about compared to what was announced. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I got a busy quote. Ever since Pac died, I know what thugs are all about. Make a sacrifice for Christ. These never could kill me twice.
Thanks so
Peace
much.
out.
Peace.
See y'all.